Hello my little mushies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Summer and I'm here with another bookish video. Alright, so today is March 31st. It's the end of March and we had big reading plans and we failed miserably. That's okay though. It was my birthday month, so you know, I was like, it'll either be a really good reading month or a really bad reading month. We'll just have to wait and see. Turns out it was a really bad reading month. Partly because I started a book, which I'm going to talk about in my wrap up, that really put me in a reading slump, and I should have just recognized it for a book I wasn't into, but I have guilty remorse of not finishing a book. So instead of just saying, you know what, I'm not digging this book, I'm gonna put it down and move on, I just put it down and then was like, I'll pick it back up, I'm gonna finish it, and kept making plans to finish it. And I should have just recognized for what it was and just been like, we're not digging it, let's move on. Anywho, since today is the last day of March, I thought it'd be fun to do a little readathon. I'm not gonna call it a 24-hour readathon because I'm not gonna read 24 hours straight. I'm gonna call it a readathon. I got a few books that I've started that I want to get more into, or at least I know one I want to finish today for sure, and then the other two I want to get pretty decently chunked into. So we'll see what happens, you know? Yeah. So yeah, welcome to my not 24-hour readathon, because we might just pile it in tomorrow. Pile it into, what am I trying to say? We might just go into tomorrow as well. That makes sense? Yeah. Anyways, let's get started, shall we?
Feel me? Yeah, she my peanut butter jelly snack, pull it, ride, busky, painting. That's my sunshine when it's raining. That's my boo, yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the books that I want to read today. I want to get a decent amount. I want to finish The Bachelor's Girl's Guide to Murder. I'm on chapter 5, and this is by Rachel Macmillan. I'm on chapter 5. I started this last night and it's so cute. I love it so far. There's already 2 murders, and Miranda and Jem, it's Wednesday, so the lawn people are definitely out and about. Anyways, Miranda and we're following Miranda and Jem, who are 2 bachelor girls in like the 1910, like 1900, like early 1900s, because it takes place in 1910. Why didn't I just say that? But they're in Toronto, and they're strict like lady rules. You're not to be wearing pants, you can't have the hem of your dress too short or you'll go to jail and get a ticket. But Miranda especially is super fascinated with solving crimes and stuff like that. So we're in chapter 5. We start off with one murder, and it's connected to a really high politician, and Miranda has a friend, Miranda and Jem kind of have a friend as a cop named Jasper, who kind of helps them get onto like the scenes of the crimes and stuff. Well, at the second scene, Jem meet a reporter who she's fascinated by. So we're just kind of getting into this one. We don't know what's going on. We're just kind of introduced to all the characters. So I want to finish this one for sure today. And it's fairly short. Yeah, it's 221 pages, 220 pages. So we should be able to get this one done. The next book I want to get pretty far into is Jello Girls by Ali Rowbottom. And she is the heir, this is a nonfiction, she is the heir to the Jello fortune, and she just kind of tells a very interesting family story. And I'm on chapter 9, and so far it's really good. It's also kind of sad. females back, like when Jello was a thing. Like, it's so weird to see that Jello was just like this thing where it's an interesting feminist story, I'll say, involving Jello. And you wouldn't think that that's a thing, but when Jello was invented, it was in the height of like 1950s and stuff, when like housewives were becoming really popular and stuff like that, and where women were supposed to be in the kitchen, and Jello really played up to that, and they at least shows how Jello kind of was the reason that that became such a thing, because of the invention of Jello. It's just a very interesting web of stories, and so I'm not very far into it, but a lot has happened. So I'm very curious about reading this one, and I'm excited. This one is also, and also fairly easy to read, because like, you see how like, that's how all the pages are. Like, they're not like dent, and yeah. Anyways, this one's only 271 pages. So I want to get like at least a little over halfway into this one, maybe more. If I could finish it, that'd be great, but I'm not making any promises to myself because, again, horrible reading one. And then the last book I want to get a major dent in as well, because I've been working on this book for a while, is, here we go for the mouthful. American Rose, a nation laid bare the life and times of Gypsy Rose Lee. And I'm on page, I'm actually a decent chunk into this one. I'm on page 165, and this is, because this is a biography, there's a lot of notes and sources, and a whole index at the end. So this one is 349 pages long. So yeah, I would like to get mostly done with this one as well. I've been reading this one for a while, and I'm listening to it while reading it. So I should be able to get decent leeway, but it's just like I'm writing notes about this one, and it's someone's life packed into 350 pages. So it's just a lot of information at once, and that's why I'm just like kind of slowly chugging this one along. If I don't finish this one, this will be okay, because I really like to learn about people's lives, especially she was a burlesque dancer, and I'm very fascinated by that whole time period. So we'll just take it easy. Like, we'll be kind to ourselves with this one. I want to try to get a little over, I don't know. We'll just see what we can do with this one. So those are the 3 books that I have planned for today. Hi. I want to have a good, just lazy reading day. So I'm gonna go to the store. I'm gonna get some munchy food, and we're gonna get reading. Sound good? Sounds good to me. All right. Catch up with you soon. Bye. Okay. Hello. We're back. I'm back from the store, and I've got some good things. We're gonna make mini donuts, hot buttered Cheerios. It's a recipe I found on Pinterest, so hopefully it's good. And then we're also gonna do some pretzel bites, got a little queso, and we'll probably do some veggie wings later as well. I got myself a toasted white chocolate with a splash of cold brew. I'm gonna put this in the freezer. So I'm gonna make some mini donut hot buttered Cheerios now, and read a little bit of The Bachelor's Girl's Guide to Murder. Shall we get some food going? Yes, let's do it. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna read a little bit and then get some food going. Okay, check in soon. Bye. Mushies! So I spent all of last night reading and watching YouTube videos, really. I like to do like reading sprints, I guess that's what they're called, where I read for a little bit, watch them for a little bit, read for a little bit, watch them for a little bit. So that's what I did yesterday. I also made some good snacks, as you've seen. So let's talk about it, shall we? It is the next day. I have my cup of tea, and I thought it'd be fun to do a little chat. Okay, so I finished The Bachelor Girls Guide to Murder by Rachel McMillan, and I got halfway through Jello Girls by Ali Rubenbottom. So we'll first talk about The Bachelor Girls Guide to Murder. So I thought it was a really good book. It was really cute, funny, unique. They're basically two single girls at the age where they shouldn't be single back in the 1900s, all right? So they live together, they're best friends, and it's Miranda and Jem. And Miranda is obsessed with like mysteries and solving mysteries and crimes and stuff like that. And Jem, she just is like her best. She's like, this is my best friend. She's like, I wouldn't say she's as into it, but that's her best friend. So she just likes to do what her best friend does. Like, she wants to be around her best friend. So Miranda definitely drags her into a whole bunch of like weird situations where, is that my hair? Oh no, it's the pop hair. Where they're dressing up in like trousers and stuff like that, and that is unheard of. Like in Toronto, it takes place in Toronto, and their mayor is really against it, and you could go to jail for it. And you could go to jail for like being out too late, being by yourself, having a dress too short, wearing pants, anything like that. So they go and it starts off with they're in a political, what am I trying to say? Oh, they're in, this is like an election's happening, like where the mayor can be, the mayor is trying to get reelected, and a murder happens in his theater. So Miranda and Jem go with their cop friend Jasper and to investigate. And this leads them on a journey of like what happened. And Jem ends up meeting a reporter named Ray, and they have a very cute relationship. Ray is an immigrant from Italy, and he works for a more of a lower, I don't know what it's called, but basically a newspaper that is not as like prestigious, I guess, as the other ones. So they just go on this journey, and they're trying to figure out who the murderer is. I did not figure, I think if I tried harder, I probably could have figured out who the killer was. I started having my suspicions, but I was wrong. I wasn't wrong, but I was like off the mark. So yeah, I guess I was wrong. I was wrong. Yeah. I gave this a 3.5 stars. I think I would have given it a 4 stars had there not been just a little bit, something a little bit irritating. So these two girls are going on, like, they're going in dangerous situations, right? They're putting themselves in danger, but they have no idea how to defend themselves. Like, zero skills at defending themselves. And a couple points in the book where I was just like, what? Like, at one point, they have the opportunity, or Miranda has the opportunity to smack someone, but with her crowbar walking stick that she carries around. She chooses not to. She chooses to do something so stupid. And I was like, why? Why? Come on, we gotta be better. Females, we've gotta be better. We gotta write our females better. We are not that dumb. Hopefully, like, we gotta write our females better. What's the point of this girl carrying around a crowbar walking stick if she ain't even gonna use it? Okay, so that was my little rant about that. Just, I do want to finish the series. There's 2 more books in this series. I still thought it was cute. I just hope that in the next 2 books, they learn to defend themselves just a little. Oh, that's another point. Jem gets a hold of a gun at one point when she is in dire need of protecting herself. And you know what she does? She doesn't use it. And she basically just hands it right back to the person that she shouldn't be handing it to. And I was like, ma'am, hello? Why would you are gonna die. Why would you do that? So there's the tea on that. It was still a really cute book, very cute. The romance in it was mild but adorable. So I did like that. The ending also was super adorable, and no one dies. Well, I mean, that's not true. There are 2 murders, but none of the main characters die. Okay, let's move on. So Jello Girls, this is the book of, the nonfiction book about the heir to the Jello fortune, basically. This is such a good book. I can't describe to you how Allie webs a beautiful feminist story, and why it is so interesting, how it's just such an interesting book. So I'm gonna try to put I'm only halfway through, so I haven't, but so much has happened in this first part that I'm like, wow. One, I will talk about the Jello. I did not realize that Jello was around for so long. I did not realize that. Also, I did not realize that Jello was used as not just a dessert. Like, they had full recipe books for like, oh, I'm sorry. Just, I looked up some of the recipes yesterday and I'm disgusted. Like, already don't like Jello, but like, they put like, it was just like, I'll put some pictures up. Like, there's Jello with like olives and fucking, there's salmon Jello, salmon mousse Jello. So they just made it was like used in every part of their like meals, from breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert, and I'm 100% grossed out. Yeah, no. However, I will say that back then, food wasn't as good as it's getting, I'm assuming. Yeah, because when Jello started, refrigeration being invented, shall we say. So Jello did really help families not have horrible meals, I guess. But I also didn't realize that Jello really marketed on the nuclear family. The husband and wife, the husband goes to work, the wife stays home with the kids, she cleans the house, makes the dinner, entertains, all that. So I was surprised, reading through this, surprised on one, how much Jello really marketed itself as the food for the nuclear family. And when the first wave of feminism really came through, the sales in Jello dropped, because now you're having females say, no thanks. But yeah, also, so I just got to this part where, one, I did not know that Bill Cosby was signed as so he was like basically a representative. It was like he signed a 27-year a contract with Jell-O, making it the longest continuously running advertisement deal between a product and a celebrity. And we all know about Bill Cosby, okay? We all, no. But she touches on it very briefly in this last chapter that I read. It might come in more play, but she cuts it so deep, so fast. She only needs a page and a half to just, it's so good. It's so good. Like at first I was like, oh, I'm surprised she's even bringing up his name, but he is such a part of the history of Jell-O. I didn't know this. You have to, right? You have to bring it up. And then I was like, I wonder how she's gonna do this. And boy, does she say, oh, it's so good. I hope she goes on to talk more about it. But yes, she cuts it deep really fast and very quickly where you're like, okay, cheers to you, girl, cheers to you. Because like I said, this is a feminist story, and she is telling her life story from her, starting with her great grandma, moving on to her mom, and then now to her. And while telling this story, she's wrapping us into, you're also learning about the Jell-O history and why her mom is so convinced that there is a Jell-O family curse. So yeah, it's such a good story. I learned about this book on the Brain Candy podcast where Susie interviews her, and I was like fascinated by it. It sounded really unique, and I was like, okay. And my library happened to have it, and I was like, okay, we're gonna read it. But it's blowing my mind. It's such a good book. Yesterday, like right before bed, I laid in bed and looked at like 1920s ads, 1920s, 1950s, 1960s, and 1970s Jell-O ads to see how like they changed, because she talks about how they changed. She talks about some specific 1970s ads with women like being your typical like housewife kind of lady, or like one of the ads was like a lady who's holding like, I think like chocolate Jell-O mousse pie or something, and she's like, I don't know if I'm allowed, I don't think I could put the ad up in my, I don't know, is that a thing? Let's see, but let me find. But my point about these ads is, they just make us look like, it's just, you forget, it's easy to not see how disgusting females were treated, and people, you know, and or the way that they just made us look in advertisements and stuff. But one of the ads is that she's holding a, what is it, like a pecan pudding pie or something, and she's like doing one of these, and she's like, the caption says, guess what happens when I backed the car out, dear? Pudding. We can fucking drive, thank you. We can drive just as, I don't even know. I hate it. I hate Jell-O, fuck Jell-O. So, I'm gonna continue reading this today. I'm actually gonna try to finish it today, we'll see. But it's a very good book. And also, it's hard to describe what exactly this book is, but like some of the experts on the back, you know what I'm trying to say. An artfully crafted feminist exhibition of American legacy and its dark underbelly, jewel-toned as its subject. Readathon mixes up equal parts history, sociology, feminist track, and personal mother-daughter story to create a literacy treason as clear and bright as Jell-O itself. This is more than a book, it's a phenomenon. Jell-O Girls is a heart-wrenching confession and extracting culture history and an important and honest feminist story for right now. Yeah, so it's a very good book, and I think You know, girls, go get you a book and read this one. Anyways, I think that is it for this lovely readathon. Like I said, I'm not gonna say it's 24 hours, even though it kind of was. Like I started at noon. It's noon now, and it was noon 30. Noon 30, what? It's 12:30 now, so decent. And I read almost all day yesterday, so I guess kind of a 24-hour readathon, even though I only read one book and a half. And I never like actually picked up the Gypsy Rose Lee book. I'm gonna pick it up today. I gotta get more into it. So yeah. Those are my final thoughts on those, well, on The Bachelor Girls Guide to Murder, and my semi-final thoughts to Jello Girls. Yes! Okay, so I've talked way too long, but yeah, that is it for this video. I hope you guys are having a great day. Whether your sun is shining or your moon is glowing, I hope you have a very, very peaceful day. And I will see you next time. Bye.